I'm very impressed that you were doing the John Cena theme tune.
I always do it.
You should do it around me more. I would love you more.
I only do it during sex.
Is that because no women can see you? Hey! Hello! And welcome back to How I Ripped Off Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Our intros are getting worse and worse.
They really are.
This is episode 10. This is PADAWAN Learner Part 2. My name's Chip Thompson. If this is your first time listening, that's me. This is Mr. MC, my co-host.
That would be me.
Hello. How are you?
I'm well. How
Great.
are you?
Fine.
Good. Great. Bye.
Bye. This is your first time listening. This is a podcast about how we go and read this thing I wrote as a 14-year-old called Tomorrow Jason, which I ripped off from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, funnily enough. What happened last week, MC, in the episode?
Well.
Oof, can you remember? It was such a long time ago.
Jay has finally got, I don't know if it is his long-term wish, but he's training to be a ninja, sort of, or MC's giving him some training to chat him up.
Yeah,
way.
They did a training session, so he's halfway there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's ready to go. But also, lurking in the nighttime.
In the, oh shit, whatever the fucking thing was.
Yeah, I'll put it in afterwards. Is lurking a vampire cult that is hell-bent on getting revenge on Louise, weirdly.
Yeah, very specific.
Yes, with the vampire cult leader, Steph. Which horrendous, terrifying name.
The ancient immortal vampire, Steph.
Parents tell kids about Steph if they don't behave. So as it is, they managed to sneak a vampire into the mansion under the disguise of being a nighttime builder. Yes,
a night
builder. Someone who builds night. And they're looking to divide and conquer. So let's see what happens in part 2 of Padawan Learner. Previously on Tomorrow Jason, Jay did the little puppy dog eyes, and MC had never felt so much like killing a dog by squashing its head.
Look, if you train me to be a ninja, I could be very useful.
Jay thought he had a good point.
Fine, okay, Jay, have it your way. I will train you to be a ninja.
Yes! Jay screamed and did a little half cartwheel across the living room carpet, knocking several piles of books over as he did. Before the conflict with the ninjas around a year ago, Steph's whole undead life had been dedicated to worshipping her god. But now she had another thing to concentrate on. Revenge. Steph didn't believe they would be successful in killing the ninjas, but she didn't care. All she wanted was the girl, and from what Steph had already seen of her, that wouldn't be too hard. Steph ran her long dark hair through her fingers, anxiously awaiting her chance to get her revenge. Her Tomorrow Jason.
Yes.
MC hadn't given Louise many details. I knew that Jamie was worried about some kind of creature hanging around his building site at night. Do you think this was a vampire humour? They were like, yeah, tell her you're a night builder, because obviously you can only go out at night. Then he and Jamie were gone. Oh yeah, they were going to draw the ninjas out, weren't they? The vampires, so Steph could get her Tomorrow Jason, or her revenge against Louise.
Ah, okay, and it's only taken MC as well.
Because he's the only ninja.
Yeah.
Then he and Jamie were gone. Jay was still upstairs, working on a throw MC had shown him. It had looked pretty simple when MC had done it, but the dummy was surprisingly heavy. Is this the return of Punchbag Man? Is he back? But Jay continued to try and try. Fair play, Jay. Like, he's having a really good go at this.
He's been at it for hours, hasn't he?
This is good, because he was lumbered with Slipknot money and being a perv for so long. But I like that he's got a new aspect to his character now.
He's persistent, yeah.
He's kind of got this real sort of underdog kind of vibe. He's fighting and scrapping his way from the bottom to get to the top, you know. Louise wheeled herself into the kitchen for a nice cup of hot chocolate and a mayonnaise sandwich.
I feel that must have been a private joke, right? That must have been a joke.
If it was, I don't remember it.
Is it? I reckon either Louise had a mayonnaise sandwich or you...
a mayonnaise sandwich?
You eat mayonnaise sandwiches. I reckon she went like, mayonnaise sandwiches, that sounds disgusting. And then he put it in there.
A nice cup of hot chocolate and a mayonnaise sandwich. I mean, there's a very good chance I just wrote mayonnaise sandwich.
It is true.
When she returned to the living room, all was not as she had left it. 3 people stood in the living room. They could have been more clients, but the 2 wearing dark robes, 3 set of fangs... Whoa, hang on. They could have been more clients, but the 2 wearing dark robes, 3 sets of fangs, and the fact they were all vampires gave the game away. I think it makes sense.
I think so.
Yeah. Also, how have the vampires got in without being invited? That is going completely against Buffy law.
Oh my god.
I quit. Just delete the whole thing.
This is so unrealistic.
The ninja isn't here. Louise thought she had sounded cool and calm. We have not come here to kill that ninja. Steph stepped into the light of the room.
Oh no, not Steph.
Terror overcame Louise as she... Heard that accent? Terror overcame Louise as she instantly recognised the lady vampire that stood in front of her.
The lady vampire.
We have come for you. Steph's smiles revealed her long, sharp fangs. Louise wanted to scream, but knew only Jay was in the mansion, so she's like, I'm not going to bother. At that moment, Louise made a very brave decision. Calling for Jay would only get them both killed, so she kept quiet and went without a struggle. One of the vampires lifted her out of the wheelchair that she was bound to and carried her outside. Steph and the other vamp followed from behind as they took a short walk down the road where a white van was parked. As Louise was thrown into the back of the van, she wished she wasn't going to die as a sacrifice to a crazed vampire cult. It's understandable, I guess.
It's a thought I have a lot.
Some ways to go, and then there's others. Last time Steph had taken her, it was Chip that had saved her. But he wasn't around now, and no one knew where MC was. There was no hope. The end. She's dead. No, I'm joking. That's well. Sweat didn't taste very nice, and Jay regretted licking his lips. 17 times now he had tried to throw that stupid dummy, or punchbag man, and still he couldn't summon enough strength to do it. He dragged it towards the wall of the dojo and propped the dummy up. Jay swung his right hand and gave the dummy the meatiest of backhanders. It made him feel better. Satisfied he was well on the way to becoming a ninja, Jay decided that was enough training for today. He patted his belly.
Time for a pizza!
Jay trotted downstairs and hummed Embarrassment by Madness. Oh, it's a different band.
It's because you used to really like Madness.
Yeah, we had a big thing for Madness. Yeah. The gang kept the menus in the kitchen, but Jay thought he'd best ask Louise if she wanted some. I hope that's pizza. I really hope he means pizza. He laughed at the little innuendo all the way into the living room. Louise wasn't there. Jay walked around into the kitchen, expecting Louise to be there. She wasn't. Well, she had been, as the empty jar of mayonnaise indicated, but not anymore. It must have been a thing. I don't know why I keep banging on about mayonnaise.
I don't know. Oh well, she's probably upstairs or something.
Jay thought as he fished out the Domino's pizza menu.
Do you think... Does Japan have Domino's? And was that just you being, I can't be bothered to think of another pizza chain or do any research, or was it...
Maybe we had a Domino's once, and then we was like, yep, that's a thing.
That's an in-joke now.
Yeah, I'm sure there's Domino's in Japan.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. A few minutes later, after finally deciding on pepperoni, Jay realised that Louise couldn't get upstairs by herself. And I just think he's got the menu, he's like, just drops it. It's slow motion, it falls to the ground. He went to the back doors of the mansion and peered into the overgrown back garden. She wasn't there either.
That's strange. I wondered... Ah!
The presence of Shinno-kan in front of him as soon as he had turned around startled Jay. Very good startled, well done.
Thank you.
Also drink.
Mm-hmm.
Jay finally stopped screaming and Shinno-kan went to speak. He was stopped before any words left his lips.
No!
Jay said. Shinno-kan looked at him quizzically.
You're going to say something like, we've got trouble, or such and such is in danger. For once, would it kill you to say something like, all is well, or lesbians rule? I don't think Jay means that in a pro-LGBT kind of way. I think he means that in a specific way.
Yes, he does. Let's swiftly move on from the horrendousness. Yeah. Shinno-kan knew what he wanted to say, but Jay's little outburst had made him want to rephrase it. In the end, he settled on,
we've got trouble. Louise is in danger.
Can you go a little faster, please?
Jay asked the taxi driver. They were heading for a small building that had been condemned a few years ago. Another abandoned building?
There's no shortage in Tokyo.
Is this why they're trying to rebuild it at night? Is this what's going on? Now it was little more than a rubbish dump, but it was where Louise had been taken to. According to Shinno-kan, at least. Jay still wore the same clothes he'd been wearing all day. Sweat patches and all. Well, it's not like you could take the sweat patches off.
No.
It's not like a fashion accessory. Shinno-kan tried to reason with Jay. Wait, is he in the taxi with him? Is there like a ghostly, wizened old Chinese man?
You know, have you ever seen Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah, of course.
I picture Shinno-kan as the villain.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Oh,
yeah. It's the
I'm
most
so
racist
glad.
thing I could probably think of at the time. So.
So I've got this image of Shinno Khan, this spectral, evil dude from Big Little Trouble in Little China in the back of a car with Jay.
Yeah, just in the back of a taxi.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Shinno Khan tried to reason with Jay.
Listen to me. Louise is being held by vampires. Strong vampires.
The taxi driver looked into his mirror, so Shinno Khan lowered his voice.
You will not be able to survive this. And then Louise will die anyway.
As soon as Jay had been told about Louise being kidnapped by the dead ninja master, he had wasted no time. That makes it sound like Shinno Khan had kidnapped Louise. But I don't think that's the plot twist that's going to happen.
He's actually Pablo? No, Escobar.
Yeah.
The evil vampire god.
Unfortunately, MC had turned his mobile phone off. So, can Shinno Khan only appear at the mansion, or why didn't he appear with MC and say, hey, these guys you've gone with the vampires, you need to go kill them right away and go back and save Louise?
I'm going to make a suggestion. It's a wild suggestion.
Hit me.
Maybe you didn't think it through that much.
You mean this, like, tightly plotted work of art?
I hate to peel back the curtain, but...
Unfortunately, MC had turned his mobile phone off. Next, Jay had phoned a taxi, and it arrived about 10 minutes later. Whilst he was waiting to be picked up, Jay practiced the moves MC had shown him earlier. This is really sweet.
It is.
He's actually going to try and fight vampires with his one move that he's learned whilst being trained to be a ninja. Shinno Khan had been trying to stop Jay from taking on the cult by himself, but his mind was made up. He refused to answer Shinno Khan, not wanting to think of him or Louise being killed.
I was just thinking, when you said taken instead of taking, I was just thinking of Liam Neeson now. Liam Neeson fighting vampires.
I'd watch that film.
I would.
I mean, they'd probably be black vampires, though.
Is he racist now?
Did you not see all this?
No.
This is really irrelevant to the podcast, but yeah, he came out, not really, but it was a thing.
Right.
So there was a massive story a couple of days ago. This is going to really time the
we
making
can
of
edit
this.
it out, but I want to know, so tell me.
Basically, I think it was either a friend of his or his sister was raped a long time ago.
Right, okay.
By someone who was black.
Right.
So Liam Neeson said he went through this phase where he basically just wanted to go out, find a black man and kill them.
Right.
And yeah, so it was a big thing in the news about, he's racist, and then other people were like, well, no, because
What?
he was just angry and hurting. So that's the thing. Hey, welcome to 2019, podcasters.
For all your current Hollywood gossip and also Tamara Gayson critique reenactment.
Yeah, so now you can see the joke I made was really funny, MC.
It was
So what I'll do is,
hilarious.
if we get you to just laugh, then I'll edit in after I make that joke.
Okay. I was just thinking, when you said taken instead of taking, I was just thinking of Liam Neeson now. Liam Neeson fighting vampires.
I'd watch that film.
I would.
I mean, they'd probably be black vampires, though. Thank you.
Racism.
Shinno Khan tried to speak to a part of Jay that he knew would listen.
How do you expect to pay for public transport when you no longer have a large sum of funds?
That's a good point. He doesn't have any money.
It's true.
Yep.
Right.
Still, Jay wouldn't answer. Then the taxi pulled up. The taxi driver told Jay and Shinno Khan how much the final fare was. Jay leaned forward and pinched a muscle on the side of the driver's neck. He passed out.
That's how it works.
Yep. What?
Where did you learn that maneuver?
A puzzled Shinno Khan asked.
MC taught me.
Then something hit Jay as he replied.
Wait a minute.
He looked at Shinno Khan.
How come you turned up at the mansion? Why didn't you just go straight to MC?
Yes! Thank you, Jay! Oh my god, I'm so in tune with this, and that makes me incredibly sad.
And it's, I don't want to say better written than we thought it was, but that's...
Mildly.
Yeah.
Shinno Khan looked down at the floor as he answered, like a told-off child. Oh, I'm sorry.
My psychic connection to my pupils is becoming faint.
Because they all turn out to be fucking evil.
My only other connection is to the mansion. I can now only appear when I am given information. Yet, even that is starting to come to an end.
Maybe it's because he's really incompetent.
This is mildly interesting plot
I-
device,
yeah,
right?
it
This
is.
is a little thing we'll weave it in. Because they mentioned last episode, a couple of episodes ago, how Shinno Khan hadn't popped around for a while.
Yeah.
There we go, got a little answer to that. Not wanting to get in depth with Shinno Khan about his lack of creeping up on them anymore, Jay went to take care of business. Before he entered the doors, Shinra Khan called after him.
Wait. Are you still serious about doing this?
Jay looked back.
I've never been more serious.
He said with conviction.
Did I sound convicted?
Can you do conviction in that voice?
I've never been more serious.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
He said with conviction, despite thinking at the same time.
I've never been more scared.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Then,
Shinra Khan bowed his head.
you may not have the mind, body, or soul of a ninja,
Alright, jeez.
but at heart, you will be a worthy member of the Ku Klux.
Oh, this is so lovely. He's going to die. Not really known if Shinra Khan was being kind or mean. Jay continued into the building.
Probably for last, knowing Jay's track record.
Just for once, Louise thought as the two male vampires tied her to a giant cross. They could at least make being a sacrifice a little more comfortable. Steph stepped forward, holding a book.
I don't know why you said it in
I
that.
don't know either. She still wore her human face, and Louise noticed she was actually quite pretty.
Does she instantly dislike her for being pretty?
Well, the next line. Minus 10 tons of blusher.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Steph put her face close to Louise's and licked her left cheek. Oh, I can taste you, she whispered. And smell you.
Oh, it's the accent that makes it.
But as Steph took another whiff, she realised it wasn't Louise that smelled. What is it? One of the vampires asked. Steph morphed into that of her demon self and said, Fear. I smell stinky fear. All three vampires walked into the middle of the smallish room and sniffed. It's a really weird sight. Suddenly, Jay put his foot through the door. The hole he made wasn't quite big enough to fit through, so he settled on opening the door the old-fashioned way.
Phew.
Jay thought as he scanned the room.
Only 3 vamps. Confident.
Yeah, I know, right? But they were 3 vamps that were walking towards him. He stood, ready for action.
I love how in all of these things, and in Buffy as well, it's like the vampires are superhuman strength, incredibly feral, all this stuff. But like, just an ordinary dude can still take one.
Yeah, Xander got really good at like staking them, and I love how they just sort of tap their chest with a stake before they burst. One vampire leapt forward, intending to crash Jay to the floor. Very calmly, Jay took 2 steps forward, and the vampire crashed into the wall behind. Louise looked up and was amazed to see Jay fighting a vampire. He was doing okay. Yet still Louise couldn't find him sexually attractive.
Oh man.
Why are we doing this? Why am I reading through this? I think I don't like it. Anyway. As Jay backwards, he tried to remember what MC taught him earlier.
2 things that you have to remember when fighting a vampire. Number 1, make sure you're always moving the line of attack. Never be straight onwards. And number 2, always carry a wooden stake on you. Bollocks!
Jay thought.
He's an idiot.
The vampire finally got the better of the situation and knocked Jay off his feet with a snap kick to the stomach. Jay went to get to his feet but was pinned to the floor. There. No, there's no there.
Yeah.
Jay went to get to his feet but was pinned to floor by the vampire that had crashed into the wall a few moments before. Steph walked over to a floored Jay. Tap, tap, tap. Didn't your mummy ever teach you not to take on vampires? Who the hell do you think you are?
That's quite specific.
Yeah.
No, okay, always go to wash your hands after you go to the loo.
Didn't your mother warn you about Steph the vampire?
I mean, she did, because Steph the vampire is like the boogeyman.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
established this last episode.
I'm a ninja, Jay replied. The 3 vampires' laughter was interrupted by a familiar voice.
I keep telling you, Jay, I'm a ninja, and you're a little bitch.
I love how you knew that was MC before you even read ahead to see that it was a line from MC.
It abused Jay, so I assumed. Or it could be Chip.
It's not.
Yeah, I know.
Steph turned in horror to see the man that should have been killed by the rest of the cult. You! She yelled. You! Louise added, but in a nicer way. The two vampires walked towards MC.
Oh, please.
He mocked.
I've just taken out about 20 of your kind.
It's so braggy, isn't he? Yeah, well, I've done 10 more than you, eh?
Oh, very good private joke.
Thank you.
I've just taken out about 20 of your kind. Do you think you two have got much of a chance?
We served him out Escobar, one vamp said.
We would be happy to die in his honour.
The other added. Before MC had time to get his witty comeback out, the vampires attacked. Meanwhile, Steph had two choices. 1, kill Louise quickly and most probably be killed herself. Or 2, escape and live to tell the tale. She decided to go with the latter. But before Steph could get past MC, her two faithful soldiers went up in 2 clouds of smoke. She was trapped. Then suddenly someone jumped down from the top of the condemned building and hoisted her up in the air. MC held out his hand and Jay gratefully took it. Both turned and expected to see Steph waiting to die also. She wasn't there. Sorry, did they not see her get grappled from the sky?
Guess not.
Okay.
I guess MC was helping up Jay and looked away.
Yeah. Before MC or Jay could take the time to look around for her, a small voice called out to them. Guys, as much as I love being tied up, it's just not the same when you're not naked and sweaty.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Right. Cool.
MC and Jay untied Louise and carried her to MC's car. On the way out, Jay asked MC how he knew where to find them.
Well,
MC began.
after I found out that I was being led into a trap by the gang of cult vampires that had kidnapped Louise before, I was sure they were going to be after her again. Driving back to the mansion, I nearly crashed into a taxi. When I got out to see what was happening, I found the driver was just coming around after being assaulted. I asked him who did it, and he replied, some four-eyed, sweaty, mad guy who resembled a mushroom.
Jesus, MC, all right? Calm down. Jay's done a really, brave thing here.
He also mentioned you were talking to another man who looked like he was going to a fancy dress party about vampires. In the end, I put two and two together and realised that you were here to save Louise. I feel that's a stretch, but okay.
What a wonderful coincidence.
I know.
Is that what they call a meet cute? Is he going to move away from Tifa and go on to the taxi driver now? The three drove home together, with Jay admitting on the way that he didn't want to be a ninja anymore.
I think I'll stick to being an international rock star,
He said. Oh.
That's all Jay.
Steph tried to struggle, but the set of hands around her were very strong. Once the ninja and his friends got away, again, the arms released her. Steph was amazed to see the other ninja standing there.
I thought so.
He was with another vampire as well. Before she could ask what was going on, Chip said, I know this might be a bit confusing for you, but I think we can help each other out. Just listen. And that's the end of episode 10, Padawan Learner.
Fucking Chip. So evil.
He's
Always up to evil stuff.
Is he recruiting a vampire cult
I
now?
guess.
Is that what's happening?
I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
it's clearly not a good thing to be in a vampire cult because they've, all but Stefan been killed, twice now.
That's true. MC took out all 20 of them, didn't he, on
Yes.
his own solo without any help?
I mean,
so,
maybe 20, 30, I wasn't really counting, but I think it was at least 20.
yeah, I mean, Chip's plans are never really clear.
Part 1, be evil.
Part 2. Part 3, profit. So, obviously, there's a reason why he's saved Steph.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he feels like she'll be like a soldier, knowing how much he feels about Louise and MC and everyone. But I'm sure we'll find out that later.
And also, Steph said that she thought one of the ninjas was cute, so I reckon, do you think they'll have a thing?
Ooh, do you reckon it was Chip then?
Yeah.
He is
Get
the
some
cute
room
one.
temperature, strange.
Would that make Chip even more evil if not only has he looked away from a kid being killed in front of him, but he fucks a vampire? Oh god, I hope I don't write a sex scene.
Oh,
no.
I do,
oh
I do,
god,
I do.
I didn't know what even sex was back then.
Chip puts his elbow into the woman's butt.
That is way more erotic than I think I even could have imagined at that point. And Jay has given up on his dream to be a ninja. That is a thing that's come and gone.
He gave it a solid go. Like,
He's got some fighting.
Good 6 hours training or whatever, and he tried to take on 3 vampires by himself.
And he knocked that taxi driver the fuck out.
He did.
That taxi driver will not be picking up any weird fares anymore, you know what I mean? So I think it was kind of one of those one-off kind of episodes, that kind of placed a few things around the story that was happening in terms of the long term of the season.
Yeah.
God, I'm getting really wanky about this. So we've got a reason about Shinno Khan kind of losing his connection.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, mainly because all these ninjas go evil. And and now Chip has kidnapped a vampire for some reason. Probably going to bone her. Would you like to know what the next episode is called, MC?
I would love to.
The next episode 11, part 1, is called No One Likes Dayton.
Bitter, perhaps? A little bit. Maybe a little bit.
I don't know what that's going to be about. Maybe Tifa and MC. Maybe we're going to get a bit of that again.
Yeah.
I hope so, because otherwise I have no idea.
Oh, MC and Tifa, Chip and Steph, double date.
Well, I'm looking forward to this weird foursome that's about to come up next week.
So many elbows.